It is time.
Hi, I'm Dan Mason. You're watching Galaxy Jams Reacts. And today, we're going to be listening to the Rippingtons, Tourists in Paradise. A little jazz fusion fun little bop with some tropical flair. That's the best I can do to describe it.
That was great.
Oh, I like the album art. Oh, this is already
This is great.
so on brand. It's got those like echo jams in it too.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have sampled this song in the vaporwave community.
This is taking me to Sega Genesis for some reason.
Yeah.
Like Echo the
Oh,
Dolphin.
yeah.
or-
Oh yeah, it's that era for sure.
Love this.
I gotta try not to sing along. It's like empty, but there's so much happening. It's like,
Yeah.
It's meaningful space.
yes.
Ooh, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, the saxophonist is killer in this band.
Dan, you're invited to DJ my wedding.
Love those synth brass too.
Yeah, and that vocal sample.
It sounds so familiar.
Yeah, this whole song sounds like so much music I've heard before, probably because they were an influence.
The vocal just going with the synthesizer there.
Those hits are a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to stop
It's
it
going
there.
right.
Dan Mason, thank you for bringing the song to us. I love it.
The song kicks ass.
Yeah.
bruh.
It does.
What made you bring this song to share on the program?
I felt that this song, like, just has just so much great production going on. I felt like it has some crazy ass kind of jazz fusion-y writing happening that I was just like, this song just is just one of the most well put together songs that I've heard. Like, especially like in this kind of style, like of like this kind of 90s era kind of smooth jazz fusion kind of thing going on here. It just, I feel like it hits all the points. And I just want more people to know about it.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It really reminds me a lot of like prog like rock bands. It has like that prog sensibility with the different hits and the super busy bass, and every single layer they've introduced has just been like absolutely immaculate. I can't wait. I'm going to listen to this whole album right after
Oh
the
yeah.
show.
This is the reason why so many people tried to do this, and now we have certain types of like doctor's office and like elevator
Oh my
music.
God, you're right.
You know, like this is like when we went to see The Dark Knight and we're like, the Joker's a really fascinating character way back in the day, and then it evolved into something like cliche and lame as it kind of evolved over time.
Definitely.
Like, this is the original reason why this is the original good version of what was misappropriated.
People knock on music because of where it went, but at the time, you know, this was like it. This was it.
Oh yeah.
The
Like,
thing I
you see the reason why people wrote so many other types of songs like this.
I do see a note down here, which I'm going to go ahead and put out there, that many of the Rippington songs have been played on the Weather Channel's local on the 8's forecast segments. And that might be where you might have heard this. Is like, and now the weather in Norfolk.
Yeah. It doesn't get much more vaporwave than that.
And like, I wish I could have experienced that, like this in the environment they wanted me to experience this
Like
music.
in a dance hall
You
with
know?
like hundreds of people
'Cause
all just getting down.
I feel
their live sets are fucking insane too.
But
I think there's another band that's very similar to them called T Square, based out of Japan, and I think they did a collaboration set where both bands were basically competing with each other.
Oh, that's great.
It's so fucking cool.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, they kick ass.
Yeah, I just want to experience this the way they want me to experience it.
Right.
Yeah, sitting on a beach drinking like a margarita or something, or a pina colada.
There you go.
Definitely.
I feel like I'm about to close a big drug deal on like the streets of, the beaches of Florida.
And like so many of the instruments are like sound so purposefully fake, but they all exist in the same beautiful universe.
Perfectly put. Ooh. Oh, I've heard this song sampled, this part sampled.
Oh yeah, for sure. Get into vaporwave a little bit, you'll find it.
It almost sounds like the Entertainment Tonight theme song too.
Yeah.
From that time, from like.
Also the dynamics in it. Just,
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's loud and then it gets quiet, and you gotta have that dynamic range.
This is like a great 80s movie montage moment.
Yeah, it's like my life.
Things are going really well at this point in the film.
Yeah.
I get more tourism video for Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
with it. A lot of quick cuts to people in bathing suits.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You can enjoy the sand, the sun, and the sounds in Miami Beach.
Oh my God, that's so perfect.
Going ham, bro.
Ooh. Like, give it to me again. Give it to me again.
I want to say the synths they're using are Korg M1s. I want to say. It sounds like them.
The nice breathy pad sounds like you can hear the air.
Oh yeah, just like that little bit of noise on the top of the oscillation there, just like just that breathiness.
I love those.
It's gonna come back in, but it doesn't.
I love those sharp hits. That's like a hallmark of the genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like that synthesized. I think it's called like a. I don't know if it's wavetable or it's a sample library kind of thing. I forget what it's called, but it's like that kind of. They basically take a sample of a actual instrument and then they make it into a synthesizer sound, and that's how you get that really kind of like almost the sound of like the brass hits, but it's fake kind of thing.
It's,
It's still fake, but it's like close enough.
It's like a plastic sound, that's put in there, but
Too clean. It's just too clean.
Oh yeah, I remember back in the 80s, my brother, he was 14 years older than I was, so I got to play with all his cool toys, and he had an Ensoniq keyboard, which all the sounds were on like these 3.5-inch like floppy disks that you'd put in.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those sounds were actually, that was the whole big thing, actually digitally sampled from the actual instrument, but they always sounded like that, where it was like just kind of a little bit fake, but not fake because it actually is the instrument, but it has no like when you listen to the actual instrument, there's a lot more like just it would say like a sax, like the breath and the way it's played, you can't really get that.
It's going to be like the same
sound.
attack.
Yeah, it's the same attack and all that kind of stuff because they didn't have the good controls for that yet. And But it was always fun to play with those instruments. Yeah.
The synths that they're using are operating on like a similar thing where it's
Mm-hmm.
like a little floppy disk you put in there, and then you get like a library of stuff to choose from. You have
Right.
several floppies and probably expansions that you can buy and stuff like that. These synths were also very expensive, and I think those floppies were
Yeah.
also very
Yeah,
expensive.
they were definitely
So-
expensive.
I feel like
But-
people were chasing that unnatural sound, that electronic sound. And one thing I can't help but think about is like bread. So you have bread, right? And then sliced bread became that new thing. But now everyone's chasing organic,
Yes.
unsliced bread
Right.
because they want to go back to that realness, right? When
Right.
before the new thing was mechanically separated,
Right. Wonder Bread.
Exactly. And just the same as that, it's so interesting how it comes full circle and what tools are in the toolbox for people and when they like to use it.
Yes, I memean 10, 15 years ago, some of the tones might be cringe to some people, but now
Right.
now it is completely fresh again.
Yeah.
It has a different it's just yeah, it's just got like a different like feel to it nowadays. You don't listen to this and think doctor's office, because I mean I most doctor's offices I go to, they just play the pop radio
Right.
nowadays. So it's like you're not like,
Right.
oh, I'm not in an elevator, I'm not in a doctor's office. It's like, oh, what is this? And it's
Right.
like, this is the stuff my parents didn't want me to listen to because they thought this stuff was just boring
Doctor's
stuff. And then
offices,
when I got
yeah.
older, I listened to it. It's like, this is fucking new to me. And it's like, oh wow, this is cool.
Like I was listening to a bandsplain on Steely Dan, and they were talking about like how you go to CVS, you probably have heard Steely Dan, and like my family's older, my dad's deaf in one ear, so I missed decades of music before my time, and so
Right.
like you know those, like I said earlier, experiencing some of this stuff in the wrong context just takes you out of like what the meaning is behind the music, and it's exciting to have it represented from you and to get to experience it in this environment.
I feel like that when I listen to Fish, even though Fish is, been around forever and they're still very, very much a big band. I mean, back in the 90s when it was new, like those songs were everything, and I always try and listen to Fish not from a, oh, I'm jaded because I've been in the jam band scene for 20 years and I've heard Possum a million times. But I'm trying to remember, what kind of feeling it would be to hear Possum for the very first time and be like, oh my God, this is so fresh, it's so new, and it's so now, right? As opposed to what people think now.
I can get that.
One last thing I'll say about this song is that I was thinking how perfect this would be for vaporwave production, because we were listening to it. It was happy, it was boppy, but I know that when you slow it down, it's so easy to have like that dreary, like foreboding, like, what's going to happen next type of vibe. That's like you're at the edge of your seat with, it's nostalgic, but you still get this like evil undertones. And I can definitely see this song being that if you add the proper elements to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, slowing. It's crazy what just slowing a song down will do to its to just like
Everything.
the feeling of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about what happens in vaporwave is just like, oh, this song sounded like this when it was at this speed, but then I slow it down and it sounds more like melancholic and like
Right. And dissonant.
dissonant, and it can even give you like feelings of like maybe when you reverb it to hell and back too, it can even give you kind of senses of like liminal, almost like a liminal space kind of feel, where it's like, ooh, this is once full of people and now it's empty and desolate. And it's like,
Oh my God, that's a perfect way to put that, Dan.
Absolutely.
Perfect.